Why Heart to Heart Journey? Why this program?
So I think since we've met, I think this theme has been coming up almost in every single session of there is no work that we can do that does not involve a heart journey. All the scars, all the traumatic events, all the things that we've experienced, both professionally and personally, is a result of something that has been impactful in our heart. So I think now more than ever, especially with, things happening all around us, it is so important for people to get back to where that place is in their heart and take off the mask, if you will, to address those painful areas, those scars, those things that hinder us from our authentic self, and to process that in a safe space. Because not all the it is very infrequent that people have a safe space to be able to process that in. So I
Yeah.
think when we came up with this idea, it was mainly just to give people that space, that container, that community to where they could process things and be able to be on a path of healing in a healthy way.
Yeah, and and like you were saying, ever since we
Mhm.
first met, so we met when I
Mhm.
signed up for counseling sessions with you, right?
Yeah.
And so, I came and I'm bringing my stuff, my need, my request for support,
Mhm.
and we're having these conversations. And like you said, this theme of the heart is
Mhm.
being woven throughout and different aspects
Yeah.
of the heart and how it has played a role
Mhm.
in the topics that I was seeking support for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me in this conversation, coming from this place as a coach with this focus of, okay, now what? It's like we got this
Mm.
information. How
Mhm.
are we going to activate it? How are we going to action, create action items? And how
Yeah.
are we going to do the thing that we want
Mhm.
to do? And so it
Right.
was part of that conversation as well for me.
Mhm.
My friend, part of that conversation for me was,
Mhm.
as we're doing this healing, as we're identifying the impact on our heart,
Yeah.
you know, being able to see clearly
Yeah.
through, after being able to identify, oh, this, then being able to see how I can now take this insight,
Mm.
take this healing, take this space that's been created and apply it, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and turn it into wisdom and turn it into action.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's in that action that you would really start to see a difference, not just in yourself, but in your relationships, in the lives of people around you, in the way that you even see life through your own lens, so that it won't be from a lens of pain, but it's from a lens of freedom, to where you're able to say, all right, now that I see the source of that thing,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm able to tackle a lot of these different challenges. Not to say that life will be perfect, because it never will be, but
Right.
you would have the tools and the awareness to be able to handle those things a little bit different and a lot better.
Yeah, to be empowered to live your life rather than feeling like you're a victim of your life.
Girl.
Because
Yes.
it can feel like that sometimes.
Right. 100%. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely.
okay, so I'm looking at actually talking about what, oh Lord, I'm trying to pull up my notes on
Hmm.
the program
Hmm.
that we've created,
Hmm.
and so that we can talk a little bit about what are some of the things
Hmm.
that people will experience. Oh, give me.
Yeah, you're good. So I've got this here. I have our notes, just kind of the topics that we've came up with that would structure that 12-week process.
Mhm.
So talking about things like the call of the heart, setting intentions, creating safety, all of those things. We have to create the container first before we're able to fill it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
even recognizing what you need in the space is important, because without any purpose or without structure, there can't be anything accomplished, right? Talking about things like scars and stories. So sharing what those things are that we've carried, that were scars turned into stories, and how those stories can be um, explained in a way where you can allow yourself that space for healing. And then have the community to support you through that.
Mm-hmm.
Wounds that are still bleeding, things that we're still dealing with, that we're probably not aware that
Right.
we
That
are
stuff
dealing
under
with.
the surface. Yeah.
Right. And we're walking around bleeding on everybody and we don't even realize it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So it's that ancestral heartache. That comes from more of a generational pattern that probably started parents, grandparents,
Yep.
culturally, whatever that looks like. But it
Those
is
things
it
we
is a
inherit.
correct
Yeah.
inherited pain, inherited trauma, all of those things. And then love and loss, dealing with what that looks like to go through the grieving process. Heartache, loss of a spouse, loved one, friend, family member, whatever, whoever you are grieving, or
Well,
even grieving the loss of goals
yep.
and things that you expected.
Yep. And that's the part I really, wanted to pin and highlight, because a lot of times we are most familiar with this notion of grieving as it's associated to the loss of a person. But
Mm,
when we give ourselves permission to view the loss of our goals, the loss
oof,
of a career, the
mhm,
loss of the dream we had for our life,
oof.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
to
it's
view
huge.
that through the lens of grieving,
Yeah.
I found that it opens up a degree of understanding of what it is that we're
Mm,
actually dealing with. And so
yeah,
that's something
exactly.
that we will get into, that love and loss, for sure.
Yeah, yep. The armor we wear, because we will feel, and then we put it
Mm-hmm.
away, put on our armor, and then we show up for the world. So, learning how to integrate, our self-awareness, not feeling like we have to be so armored. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to let people know, hey, I've been through this, or I've shared this experience, almost using it as a strength versus a hindrance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And when you were talking about the armor we wear and it's safe to be vulnerable, but then we go into talking about the tender heart,
mm,
so that it's,
mhm,
we not only talk about how it is okay
mhm.
to take off the armor, we then go
Yeah,
into talking about what it looks like to live from that place of
yeah,
softness. Because
a
there's a
hundred
reason why
percent.
we did armor up. And so,
Mm,
we go from the armor to living from that place, cultivating this sense of safety, cultivating this
yeah,
sense of softness, so that we can walk around feeling
hmm,
that safety without having to have that armor.
yeah, yep. I
And
love
then
that. I
we
love
go
that.
into the lessons that changed us,
Mm,
to where
phew,
you mentioned the integration. And so this
mm,
is where it's like we've talked about all these things. We've looked at our
yeah,
past. We've looked at
yeah,
the life experiences we've had,
hmm,
the traumas that we've inherited, the
hmm,
losses that we grieve, the
yeah,
armors that we put on, and then we're learning about this tenderness, so that we can take all of this information and integrate it and turn it
yeah,
into wisdom.
yeah,
We
yeah.
talked about this one, and I described it as like a video game, and going back and getting all of our coins, like getting all of the things that we learned from it.
Yeah,
We go into compassion as
yeah,
revolution.
right.
And it is in you mentioned this world that we're living in, and
Hmm,
it is a world that created the armor in the first place. And so
hmm,
we're going to
hmm,
talk about being in this tenderness, and
hmm,
how compassion is very revolutionary and
Mm,
is very much a strength in this
yeah.
opportunity for self-kindness.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that brings us to the heart's truth. So now that we've done all the deep dives into talking about all those areas of our heart, now we are faced with the heart's truth, right? Reclaiming our voice, establishing healthy boundaries and our needs, being able to, again, look at it from a different lens of being healthy, being whole. I'm very big on holistic
Yes,
health,
ma'am.
not just mental health, but
Yes, ma'am.
making sure that your mind and body is on speaking terms, that it is communicating, that you are not just functioning from a mental health um, area, but your whole body is being able to be integrated into you being your best self. So definitely getting to that place where you're able to establish better boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
cultivating the
Mm-hmm.
sovereign heart,
Mm-hmm.
which this is a heart that is rooted, that has clarity,
Yeah.
that is connected, that is no longer hidden behind armor, that is no longer being suppressed.
Mm.
But you made that mention of freedom, but is able to
Mm-hmm.
live in that place of
Mm-hmm.
freedom,
Yeah.
which then takes us full circle in many
Yep.
ways to this return to love, where we've
Yeah.
integrated, we've celebrated, and we've been able to
Mm.
find closure on
Yeah.
those things, the past that we've revisited, the
Mm.
lessons that they've taught us, the
Yeah.
ways that we've taken them in, and now
Mm-hmm.
we are able to be with our
Mm-hmm.
whole selves and return
Yeah.
to love within ourselves and the
Mm-hmm.
expression and receiving of love outside of
Yeah.
ourselves, whether it be romantic relationship, familial,
Mm-hmm.
friendship, colleagues, or
Yeah.
just with the world as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. Even with ourselves. I
Yes,
think that is, whoo, that's the
primary.
hardest part.
If
You
you
know?
get nothing else
Mm,
from this journey, returning to the love of yourself
yeah,
is transformational
it is
for
100%.
everything.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So you talked about this, the reclaiming of the voice and being able to integrate and all of these
Hmm.
aspects, which really takes us into the weekly flow,
Yeah.
the way that we will be coming together each week
Hmm.
to engage with these different topics. So can you
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about
Yeah.
what each session will entail?
Session. Sure. Yeah. So we'll usually start out with some sort of grounding practice, whether that is um, some deep breathing, some just something to get you centered into the here and now. What's going on right now in your body, in the room, what's happening in your thoughts, in your heart, just to get you to connect to what's going on here and now. And then each week we will introduce teaching, some sort of concept that we will break down right along with those 12 weekly themes. So we'll have a moment of just some teaching and storytelling from yours truly and from our coach. So you'll hear from us as far as, how this has impacted us and our journeys, and then we'll typically introduce some sort of question or prompt for us to do some like a breakout session. So you'll be in smaller communities, maybe about 3 to 4 people, to
Because we
really dig
intend to
deep.
keep this
Mhm.
small. We
Very
intend to
small.
keep the
Yep.
registration small so that it's
Hmm.
capped at 20 people max, so
Yeah.
that we can have this intimate environment that's very intentional, that allows for these breakout
Correct.
interactions. Yes.
Yep. Yep. So we'll talk about how that prompt really touched a place in you, thoughts, feelings. How it's affected you, guided you, all the above. And you, again, being supported in that smaller group environment. And then after that, we come back whole group. There's usually some sort of integration practice or what we like to call heart work in between sessions, just to keep you processing what was talked about, to keep the information fresh, because application is key. So making sure that you are practicing with that concept throughout the week until that next session.
Yeah, opening up opportunities to do the thing, right? This is where the integration happens and the coaching happens, to where we can bring together the transformation that you want to see and experience within and the way that you want to see it show up in your life. So yes, we love that hard work, where we get the chance to do the thing and to really keep it alive in between sessions.
Right.
And so just to talk a little bit about what all is a part of this 12-week journey. There will be 12 weekly live sessions on the Zoom platform, and they'll be 90 minutes each. We mentioned the weekly heart work. So these will be the prompts for deeper integration, internally and also application. We will facilitate a private community space for support and connection in between sessions. We'll figure out what that platform is going to be. And then we will offer additional resources to support you with this journey. Again, in between sessions, whether it be scientific research or meditation practices or additional journaling. We'll just keep our eyes open and generating things that we think align with the work that we're doing, and we'll support you as you continue to show up and grow. And then there's the opportunity, if you find that things are coming up that you would benefit from additional support, we will be offering the opportunity to add on to sign up for one-on-one coaching or therapy sessions, or you can do both. If there is additional healing you'd like to do, or if you want to talk about your situation one-on-one, or if you've got a project that you'd like help translating this information into, to really make it real, we'll offer that opportunity to add on one-on-one opportunities with either of us. So, Daynelle, when we think about all of everything that we're going to talk about and we're going to get the opportunity to be with in this journey, who do you think will most benefit from this program?
Wow. Well, my first idea is that everybody would benefit.
Hello. If you are human.
Yes, ma'am. If
would
you are
be great
walking
for
and
you.
breathing.
Yes.
Right. But it's really for people that are seeking that emotional healing, the clarity, and the community. I think the community piece is huge because, again, we get so caught up in our own lives, in our own circles, in our own, just kind of our own rut, and we just feel like we've got to do life alone. Yeah. So it's really for people that are seeking healing through community, being able to connect with others that may or may not have walked the same traumatic journey as you, or that you just want to, have a space where you feel heard and seen. So it's really for people that are seeking that. And just, people that are curious about therapy and coaching in a group space. I know that comes with a lot of fear and stigma and all the things. So really, if you just want to know what it's like, it will be to your benefit as well. People that are creative, people that are change makers, caregivers, spiritual seekers, there's really a place for everyone. If you're grieving, going through life transitions, wanting just an inner transformation, all of those things, there is definitely a space for you in this group.
Yeah, I agree. And, we were talking about, why this program and what really inspired us to want to pursue creating this space. And when we look at the condition of the world currently, And
Yeah.
I said almost lightheartedly, jokingly, how are we changing the world?
Mm,
I think it's very real, especially that community space. I think
yeah.
that even, as you mentioned, we can get caught up in our silos in our personal lives.
Yep.
Even as we're doing the intentional work to heal and to
Hmm.
transform, I think that it's a very important piece that we come together and learn to
Hmm.
do these things, learn to do repair, learn to heal,
Mm,
learn to be seen, to be heard,
yeah.
to see and to
Yeah.
hear others in
Hmm.
community. Because I
Right.
have a personal belief that in this time that it absolutely will be community that saves us,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
heals us, that restores us.
Hmm.
And we're
Absolutely.
very
Yeah.
clear that all identities are welcome in this space.
Hmm. Yeah.
That we honor, like we said, this is a space for humans. So if you
Hmm.
are a human and
Yep.
you are interested and willing to be in this work, and
Hmm.
to be collaborative and supported and supportive, then this is
Yeah.
really an opportunity for an individual and a collective heart healing,
Hmm.
heart integration, heart restoration, um,
Hmm.
heart to heart journey.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
There it
very
is.
much so. Very much so.